longer find another reason.
Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd family a part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. If you're a NASCAR fan or know someone who is, please feel free to tell them to watch this video. Give the video a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe, and while you're at it, click that bell to be notified whenever we post a video, because we post a video just about every single day here on the channel. And today we're going to be talking a little NASCAR, talking about the Xfinity race from Saturday and the Cup race from yesterday. Now, if you're a long-time NASCAR fan, you may know that for years and years and years, California, or as they call it in NASCAR, Auto Club Speedway, according to most fans, was the worst track on the schedule. It was the most boring track on the schedule, and it was because the straightaway was so long and it was so wide that the cars could get about 5 or 6 wide and still not touch each other. So you never actually seen side-by-side racing because the cars were so spread out, and they would go just lap after lap after lap after lap with no cautions. So by the time you get to lap 50 or 60, the field was so strung out, it just got boring. But about 8 or 9 years ago, they kind of reconfigured the racetrack some, did some construction work on it, and then they changed it from 500 miles down to 400 miles. And the last 3-4 years, Auto Club Speedway has had some amazing racing. And this weekend, was no different. Saturday, we saw Cole Custer, which, by the way, if I've never said this before, am I the only one that gets hungry and wants ice cream when you hear that name? His name sounds so much like cold custard that every time I say Cole Custer, I want ice cream. Anyway, we saw Cole Custer win the Xfinity race on Saturday, and he pretty much dominated for the most part. He didn't lead every lap, but he just about led every lap. And they had 3 green-white checkered finishes, or as they call it in NASCAR, 3 overtimes because of cautions. They just had caution after caution after caution. But still, nobody could hang with Cole Custer. Of course, he's part-time now in the Xfinity Series because he's full-time in the Cup Series. But he looked great on Saturday. We saw Noah Gragson come home second, Trevor Bayne third, Josh Berry fourth, and Anthony Alfredo round out the top 5. And if you recognize the name Trevor Bayne, it's because he is the guy that won the 2011 Daytona 500 in the Cup Series at 20 years old, and you'd have thought he was going to be the next big thing, and for whatever reason, he just had horrible luck and just could not find a ride. But he's a guy that's hard to not root for. When you hear him talk, he just sounds like the nicest, most genuine person in the world. Of course, he's only 31 years old. He's got 4 young kids at home. He's battled multiple sclerosis now since 2013. He got diagnosed with MS at 22 years old. He's finally back in NASCAR. 3 years he was gone. He's only going to race 7 races this year in the 18 car. But if he does good and wins 2 or 3 of them, don't be surprised to see him in that car full time next year. 6 through 10 was Sam Mayer, AJ Allmendinger, Justin Allgaier, Riley Herbst, and Ryan Sieg. Georgia boy Ryan Sieg rounded out the top 10. Last week's winner, Austin Hill, had a pitiful race. He hit the wall on lap 3 and lost 4 or 5 laps, ended up finishing in 27th place. So not a very good race weekend after he looked so good at Daytona last weekend. And then as far as the Cup race goes yesterday, Kyle Larson won the race. Austin Dillon was second. Eric Jones third. Daniel Suarez, 4th, and Joey Logano rounded out the top 5. Now, Eric Jones is driving the 43 car, and it probably looks the most like the Richard Petty iconic 43 from any 43 car that I've seen. So, when you seen Eric Jones up front yesterday, you couldn't help but think about Richard Petty in that 43 car. Hopefully, for Richard Petty, Eric Jones will have a good season, because that 43 car, in all honesty, has not been worth a darn in a decade. And then 6 through 10, we had Eric Almirola, Kevin Harvick, Kurt Busch, Daniel Hemrick, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Now, of course, last year, if you recall, I believe there was 13 races before we had our first repeat winner. Now, of course, the second half of the season, Kyle Larson won just about every single weekend. But he didn't start out like that. But from the halfway point on, he won almost every race. So let's see if we can be as good as last year and get that far and that deep into the schedule before we start having repeat winners. Any thoughts on the race from Saturday or the race from yesterday? Please feel free to let me know. Back on track this weekend, Saturday in the Xfinity race and Sunday in the Cup race will be round number 2 of what they call the West Coast Swing. This week will be in the hometown of the Busch brothers, Kurt and Kyle, in Las Vegas at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And of course, round 3 for the West Coast Swing will be at Phoenix next weekend. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. I've been thinking about taking up meditation. I figure it's better than sitting around doing nothing. And that wraps it up for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.